Hey guys, it's Emma here. I've got a special guest for you. Get ready for this. Are you ready? Ready? We are supposed to be having Justin from the Shiplife here today, but he's not here yet. Hopefully he's going to pop in at any time. If not, we have got the special guest of Hudson, and worst case scenario, you guys will just have to talk to me for an hour, which I think we can do. Hello to John, who has made it on time for once. Thank you so much, John. Hello to Marcus, who's in here, and Lou. Hello to Alfred. Hello to Brian is in here. John is in here. John says already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, people. Already. Hello to Marcus is in here. Hello to Michelle. Hello to Richard is in here too. He says good afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you're watching this from. Hope it's a good time of day. It's evening here in the UK. We're getting ready for dinner. I'm amazed that Hudson has stayed here. Hopefully he'll join us for this live stream. Hello to Tyson. He is a huge fan. Love your videos. Thank you so much, Tyson. If anybody has any cruise questions, I think we should just start by talking with me, because I think I have given Justin the right time and the right link. That's the link I added Hudson on. So fingers crossed he will hop in at some point. If not, I am here, and hopefully that's all right for you guys. So hello to Foxy, who's in here. Hello to the Tyler Show, who's in here too, and Jenny. Hello to everybody. Hope you're all okay. When I was getting ready for this live stream, I put a proper jumper on, I brushed my hair, I put perfume on, and then I thought, that's pointless. You guys cannot smell me from there. Hudson, how are you, my best friend? How do you think, Hudson? He says good. That's what he said. He said good. Hi, Richard. Thank you so much for your super chat to go towards the postage of all of the lovely Christmas cards. Yeah, it was quite a logistical difficulty to send out all of the Christmas cards that I did. I did something like 60 Christmas cards. They've started to arrive. The furthest that I know has arrived is in Germany. Fingers crossed everybody's Christmas cards will get there. My mum says, when are you taking me on your next cruise? I don't know, Mum. Me and my mum would like to do a Cunard cruise next year. That's definitely in our minds. Fingers crossed we will see a cheapish Cunard cruise for 2021, and then we will be there. Foxy is asking about my grandmother. How is your grandmother recently? Is she taking the COVID vaccine? I haven't spoken to her since that news. I spoke to her on Tuesday. She will take it. She will definitely take it. So when she's allowed, hopefully she'll be one of the first. She's 93. She will be taking that, and she will be wanting to get back to cruising. She's still cruising, and I'm sure she's missing it quite a lot. Hello to Patty Ann. Hello to Rocky Road, who's in here. Hudson is not bothered in the way that all cats are. Yeah, that's so true. The Tyler Show says he wishes that he had smell-o-vision. I don't know if you do sometimes with Hudson here. I don't know what he eats. He's on quite a strict diet, and he goes out and he finds his own food. Reggie and her man says, maybe Justin's allergic to cats. Maybe. I feel bad if I said, the wrong time or the wrong place, but I think I got it right. Maybe, but if not, you guys have just got me, so hopefully that's all right. My mum says that my gran will have the vaccine when it is offered. Chartered voyages out of the US are being moved a year out. Yeah, I've seen a lot of cancellations recently up until kind of the end of April time here in the UK for Cunard have cancelled quite far into the future. Fingers crossed. I think things are going to get so much better in 2021, and I think things are going to move really fast once they start getting better. Cruising isn't just for old people, it's still a thing. Yeah, it's still a thing. It was just quite confusing. I had a website called Cruising Isn't Just for Old People for years, and I had a YouTube channel called Emma Cruises, and a Twitter and an Instagram and an everything. So I decided to put them all together because it makes it so much easier for me. Sean says, can we make it easier for Emma? If you have a question, please start it with question so she can see it easier. Yes, that would be really good if you can do that. Start it with question, just like this one. What is your favorite ocean liner? I mean, there's not many ocean liners to choose from. If I pick cruise ship, are we picking cruise ship? It would probably be one of the kind of tricky, maybe one of the Norwegian ships that's getaway or breakaway, that kind of class of Norwegian I like. I like the bigger ones, but I'm not going on a cruise to go on go-karts particularly. I care more about there being enough top deck space. I really like the promenade deck that they have on Getaway and Breakaway. So I think I would pick that, or the MSC Meraviglia, or the Norwegian Spirit, who is the first cruise ship I ever went on, and I love her so, so much. What are your thoughts on cruise ferries? I'm not a fan of anything that is a ferry. I get incredibly seasick. I cannot do ferries. I don't normally get seasick on cruises, but a cruise ferry, that doesn't sound great for me, doesn't it at all? What ship would you work on? See, the thing is I don't think I'd want to work on a cruise ship. I don't think I want to mix business and pleasure, and I don't think it would be very pleasurable for me being seasick all the time on a cruise ship. Plus, I have no skills that I could use on a cruise ship. None. I work in data development. I make videos on here, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Your branding as Emma Cruises is brilliant. It's best to be consistent across all platforms. Absolutely. When I started Cruising Isn't Just for Old People, that was 2016. I just started that because I thought it was funny. I thought it would be a joke. And it stuck around for years and years and years. And now, yeah, Emma Cruises is more of a brand myself. We've got my new logo that's got Hudson in it, because I think Hudson is as much of this brand as me. So there we go. Question, can you text him? I have sent him an email. I can't text him because I'm in the UK and he's in the US. Can you see my messages? Yes, I can, Summer Wolf. Summer Wolf. That's an amazing name. I have no skills whatsoever. Yeah. We've got Morgan in here from the very unofficial travel guides. Thank you, Morgan, for joining us. Everybody is saying hi to Morgan. Patty Ann says hi, Morgan. Morgan is in the house. And Jackie's blood donation yesterday went well. That's fantastic. I haven't donated blood since the pandemic. I really need to get back to it. Where I used to donate blood was closer to my work, where I haven't been back to work since pandemic. I've been working from home. So yeah. Brian says, use WhatsApp for text in the US. Do people in the US use WhatsApp? Because in the UK, everybody uses WhatsApp. It's assumed you have WhatsApp. And the only time I've ever met people that don't use WhatsApp is Americans. So I didn't think that it was such a big thing in America. Donate blood, they're very short of it now. Yeah, there's no reason why I can't. It's just been out of mind. I have not done it. I get back there to get some more biscuits. Question, does Hudson have a favorite toy? He does. He has a new toy. It was his Christmas present. And it's down there on the floor. It's one of those fish that has the mechanical tail in it, but that's awful. So I put some catnip in it because Hudson loves catnip. It makes him crazy, but he likes it. UK people, if you've tested positive this year, check out the plasma program. Yes, I've heard about this. So they're looking for people who have recovered from coronavirus to donate their plasma. So if that is you, definitely do that. Tyler says, Emma, you could work on a ship and be a guest speaker that talks about the cruise industry. That would be amazing. Would fill me with a lot of fear. I've got to be honest. The thought of walking out on a theatre stage and trying to speak, I don't know if I would do that. The ferries I saw coming in and out of Stockholm looked like the NCL Jade. Yeah, I'm just not a ferry person. I'm just not a ferry person. Not a ferry person. Does WhatsApp work when out at sea? No, it does use the internet. So if you don't have internet, you can't use WhatsApp. I quite like that, to be honest. I quite like being disconnected when I'm at sea. It's a bit different now that I have all of you guys to talk about cruises because I want to update. But if I didn't have any of this, I wouldn't get an internet package. I would just live my life out at sea because I'm constantly connected. I'm online every single day. In the US, we only use WhatsApp for contacts outside the US. Ah, okay, I see. Summer Wolf says, would you pass down the tradition of cruising to your children? I'm trying to pass down the tradition of cruising to everybody's children. And I think some parents are probably a bit annoyed at me that their children watch my channels. And I get them a bit addicted to cruising. But yeah, Emma, I've just emailed Justin. There was a mix up with the time. He'll be home in 10 minutes. Yeah, I suspected so. That is kind of the problem with the UK and the US. You guys have so many different time zones. I don't want to stress him out, though, because, I mean, I'm here for an hour. I'm just chilling. So all is good. Justin will be here, hopefully, super, super soon. But hopefully you're all right with me. I've got a cup of tea today because it's freezing here in the UK, and I've got it in my Princess Cruises cup. We've got Tony here from La Lido Loca. He says, hey, hey, hey. Look, it's Hudson. I love Hudson. Cats are great. What do you think of that, Hudson? Yeah, Tony very meanly said the other day that he didn't like cats, and Hudson didn't like that. So Hudson wasn't watching any of Tony's live streams anymore, but now he is. So he doesn't look very impressed, does he? Everybody says hi to Tony. Thank you, Tony. It's so hard to be a content creator and a content watcher at the same time, especially if you're somebody like Tony who puts out a new video every single day. How you do it, Tony, I have no idea. Me and Tony both put out a video just before the news came out about the suspected coronavirus case on the Royal Caribbean cruise ship being false positive. I saw his video go out, mine went out, and then the news came, which was so annoying. We've got Don's family vacations in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, Don. He ran to the computer to say hi, but he's listening on his TV while he's baking. Thank you so much. What ship of any era would you save from the scrap? You know, I haven't had any cruise ships that I particularly love be sent to the scrapyard this year, which I think I've done really well. I've made 3 videos so far about scrapped cruise ships. It's not any of my favorites, thankfully. I'm so glad about that. So I know a lot of people love the CMB ships. A lot of people have loved the ships that were Pullman tour ships that have gone to the scrapyard. A lot of people are upset about those, but there wasn't any of my favorites in there. Fingers crossed. I think we're going to see more ships going to the scrapyard into 2021. I'm planning on doing a big summary video because I've made 3 parts about sold cruise ships, and I need to update them because some of them have new lives, some of them have in pieces now, so it'd be cool to update on that. Morgan says, Emma goes live, all the other cool cruise and travel YouTubers show up. You included, Morgan, absolutely. I'm so sick of the biased news on cruising. When do you think it'll go back to normal? I think cruising has always had a tricky time in the media. If it wasn't coronavirus, it was about norovirus. People were saying that cruise ships, you know, had super spreaders, petri dishes, all of these things about cruising that, if you look at the numbers, are completely wrong. I don't know if normal will ever be what we had as normal before, but things should get much, much better soon. I'm hoping soon. I went a little bit, I don't want to say viral, but I went a little bit viral on TikTok this week. I'm not a massive fan of TikTok. I'm not recommending that you go and follow me on TikTok, but I made a video for YouTube Shorts and I thought I might as well put it on YouTube. I've had 600 and something thousand views on there now, 1,300 comments. A good third of the comments are saying cruising is awful. A good third are jokes about the Titanic. And then a third of them are about Spider-Man or things that I don't even understand. It's really interesting for me to get a take on cruising from people that have never even seen a cruise ship and they have no intentions of going on a cruise. I surround myself with all of you guys who love cruising, and sometimes it's different to see these people who all of them are joking about the Titanic, and I'm like, that's 100 years ago, guys. It's not like the Titanic anymore, but people don't listen. Emma, are you as relaxed as Hudson? He hasn't got a care in the world, has he? He's just chilling out, just chilling out. Lou is hoping for a vaccine in the next few months. 2 cruises booked for July, and now the comment has moved. And Christmas in 2021, yes. I think you'll be okay there. My next cruise is in May, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm not completely convinced that by May we will be cruising, but I think keep your fingers crossed. It's the only thing you can do. I'm cruising from the UK, so I think that's a good plus point for me. We'll wait and see, I think. We will wait and see. What is your favorite film, says Peter? At the moment, it is Elf. Hands down, it is Elf. If you have a look, okay, I'm just going to show you guys that I have Elf pajamas on right now. Absolutely love Elf. It's the best Christmas movie. I don't care what you say. It's absolutely just perfect. Mac London Gamer has just booked a British Isles cruise on Princess for next summer. Fingers crossed. That is so good. I did a British Isles cruise. I did one with Princess. I only did a part of it because I did it as part of a press trip with proper journalists who work for newspapers. And it was so cool. It was unbelievably cool. I went with people who had never been on a cruise before. And I think that was my first time going on a cruise with people who'd never cruised. And being able to see things through their eyes was so cool. I remember my friend Sam, we went into the buffet and she was like, I can eat anything here. And I was like, yeah, anything you want. This is all free. Just eat whatever you want, whenever you want. If you're hungry in 5 minutes, we'll come back. It will still be here. It blew her mind. It was so much fun. I came here for Jay, but staying for those pajamas. Thank you. I got these pajamas in America, actually. I've never seen any like this in the UK before, but they're fabulous. I never want to take them off. I wear them year round. I don't care that it's not Christmas. How do you feel about Morgan having taken 3 cruises during lockdown? Incredibly envious. And not only did he take cruises, he was in a suite at one point. Morgan has just living our dream. I'm very, very envious of Morgan, but I'm very happy for him that he's got to cruise. But yeah, for us in the UK, it's strange because we're between Europe, where they're kind of cruising, and America, where you're not cruising. We're in the middle. America's constantly trying to cruise. The UK is just not really saying anything at the minute. Tony says, test cruises in the UK soon. Emma, will you jump on? I will jump on. I'm ready. I hope the cruise lines know I'm ready. I haven't heard anything about test cruises yet. The situation here in the UK is not great. We're back in another lockdown. We've got kind of a break for Christmas, but then we will be back in lockdown again. So I can't see us going cruising when I can't even go and see my mum. Like, to go on a cruise seems like quite a stretch at the moment, but I think things are going to get better, very fast. So I'm ready, honestly. I hope everybody knows that I'm ready. I did apply when Royal Caribbean asked for volunteers, but of course it was US only, that one. But I hope they know. I feel like I've made enough videos over this time that they would think, oh, Emma probably wants to get on a cruise ship soon. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Richard says, I remember seeing a documentary before we first cruised about a 24-hour buffet and they could not wait for our cruise. We were visiting the buffet all the time, including the middle of the night. Yes, Richard, you have bored Hudson and he has left. Justin says, just getting set up, Emma, give me 5 minutes. No stress at all, honestly. I hope it's not the end of the world that my audience have to talk to me for an hour. I hope you guys don't mind that. But Justin will be jumping on in a minute, so that will be fantastic, because I have a lot of questions I want to ask Justin. Justin has many, many skills. He's an acrobat, he's a breakdancer, he's a YouTube superstar. How he does it, I have no idea, but we'll find out in 5 minutes. Honestly, no problem. I feel bad for like making you rush and stuff, but this is my time. This is when I'm live on YouTube. We've been doing this since March now. Can you guys believe it? Since March, who knows how many live streams. We love chatting with you, Emma. You are doing great. Thank you so much, Nautical Nurse Nancy. I hope I'm all right at this now, because I mean, I've done this for months and months and months. The first month or something was a bit strange, but I've got used to it. I can chat to you guys. I think this is a really nice way for me anyway, is the end of a Friday. So it's a really nice way to kind of calm down, chill out. After this, I'm having a pizza and I'm going to have a Pepsi Max and I'm going to chill. Pam says, it's great to see you. It is great to see you too, Pam. Justin says, do you think customer numbers are lagging? That cruise lines will eliminate solo supplements. Oh, that would be nice. It would be nice if something good came out of this, like cruising getting better for solos. I don't know, you know, a lot of people have been put off of cruising. First-time cruisers have been put off. But I don't think it will take long. I think if the prices are attractive, we're going to need a trip next year, aren't we, for sure? So I'm sure things will bounce back. It will take a little while, but we will get there. We will get there for sure. It would be really nice if solos had a better deal, though. I do feel really bad for people who are sailing solo, because it's tricky and it doesn't need to be as expensive or difficult as it is on a lot of cruise lines. If you are a solo cruiser, try Norwegian, try P&O. Most cruise lines do have solo cabins now, but it's nice if they have a solo lounge or a solo program, things like that happening. That's always nice. Morgan says, don't set your expectations so high. I think he's talking about the MSC Meraviglia, so an MSC cruise. You'll love it. There's loads of good things to look forward to. I'm a fan of MSC. I really like the MSC Meraviglia ships. Thank you, John, who has given me a super sticker. A super sticker, but I can't really, there's no sticker there. But thank you, John. I appreciate that. Sailing solo might be a little odd if you're not allowed to play with others. Play with others. Yeah, that's one thing about going forward. If they're trying to keep people apart from anyone you're not sailing with, If you're sailing by yourself, are you supposed to have dinner by yourself? Because that's no fun. Are you not going to be able to do meetups? I think we'll have to wait and see. I've not sailed solo, but I would. Yeah, I would too. The closest I've come to solo cruising is on press trips with journalists, which is scary because you're going on a cruise and you don't know who the other people are. I've always been really, really lucky with that. But there is the potential there. I'm just going to grab my cup of tea. So I put this in a Princess Cruises cup, not trying to advertise Princess Cruises or anything, but I didn't know I had this until this morning. It was in my back of the cupboard. John is your #1 fan, so the sticker states. John is my #1 fan. If you look at any of my YouTube statistics, it always says John is my top fan. I think he's a top fan on Facebook too, Patreon as well. So thank you so much, John. I like having you everywhere because you're always very nice to me. So thank you very much. Transatlantic in October. I'm nervous about transatlantics, you know, because I don't think that they're so likely to happen. The thing is about transatlantics is they fill in gaps between different seasons. So it's when they're needed, they exist. At the moment, the cruise ships aren't in the right places anyway. So I can't see all of the repositioning cruises actually happening. Sorry, but yeah, I'm nervous about repositioning cruises. I did put out a video last week, maybe the week before, about 5 types of cruises I would recommend you avoid for 2021, which for me, to tell anyone to avoid a cruise is quite difficult, but there's certain ones that are much better and much worse. Did you leave the tea bag in, Emma? Yes, always leave the tea bag in because I'm just a lazy so-and-so. That's why. Oh, Justin, Sunny Travels is doing a transatlantic in December. I think by December it's got to be fine. The transatlantics that I'm nervous about are the ones in the start of 2021. By the end of 2021, I think we're going to be completely fine. I'm sure we've got to be fine. We've got to be fine. Potato. So on my last live stream, I said something. I don't even really remember it. It wasn't that significant to me, but I said something like, if you can leave a comment on my YouTube videos, it helps me. It helps my channel massively. So I said, leave a comment, no matter what it is. If it's potato, leave a comment, it helps. And ever since then, I've had comment after comment of types of potato. Oh, I love the potatoes in this video, etc., etc. And it does help out my channel a lot. It makes me laugh to think about the other people who didn't really understand this and they see that all of my comments are now about potatoes, but I appreciate it anyway. Thank you so much, Morgan. He says, well, everyone, my Marcus made my dinner and it's time to chow down. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I'm going to go and have my dinner after this is done. So hope you enjoy it. It's not the Windjammer, but I'm sure it'll be great. If someone else has cooked dinner for you, it's normally good because you haven't had to cook it yourself. So thank you so much for joining us anyway. I really appreciate it. It's cool. What today? Carrot. You can type anything you want. Anything. Like YouTube does not care. If you're leaving comments, it thinks this must be a good video, even if it's types of potato. So please keep that going. It makes me laugh every single time I see it. I'm sorry if this is irritating, Emma. It's not irritating, Foxy. I hope you and your dear grandmother and your mother have a lovely adventure again once COVID restricting measures are lifted, once we're free of those. I can't wait for that. I think it's going to be better than ever. I think cruising is going to be good and we're going to appreciate it so much more than before. Justin is here. I can see Justin here. I'm going to pop him up on the screen if you guys want to talk to Justin. And if Justin is ready, if you're ready, give me a wave, Justin. I can see Justin down here, but you guys can't. Hopefully he's ready. If he's not ready, too late, Justin. You're coming up. Hello.
Hey.
And if Justin is ready, I can't hear you at the minute. Can you hear me?
I'm ready.
Okay. We'll have to work out some technical things while we're here because I can't hear a thing. Can anybody else hear Justin, or am I just going to have to mime this?
Hey, can you hear me?
My sound is on. My sound is on. You're not muted. I'm going to mute you. You're not muted. Can anyone hear Justin? Is it just me who can't? Justin, my man, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Potato salad, yeah. Honestly, anything, it doesn't matter.
Make sure my mic is good.
I can't hear Justin. Can you hear Justin? Why can't I hear Justin? I'm the one person who should be able to.
I hear you.
What about now?
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
No, this is not ideal for me. Guys, how can you and I can't? I might have to tune into my own live stream on my phone so I can hear Justin, and I can't. That's very weird. Very weird indeed. Very weird. Please hold the line. How can you hear him when I can't? Mute your live. This is not. I can mute. Guys, how can you? I might have to tune into my stream on my phone so I can hear Justin. How strange. Let's see if it's just my computer. I don't want to just play something out loud where you'll hear whatever I'm listening to.
Let me see.
What? You can hear in the background. Is your laptop muted? My laptop is not muted, I promise. It says the sound is on. Emma is doing. Okay, well, that's a good sign. Oh, no. Oh, what am I supposed to do if I can't hear you, Justin? I'll have to go just through the comments. Everybody else asks Justin questions.
I guess so.
I can hear Emma in the background in Jade's phone. Interesting. And you can hear me. And you can certainly hear Justin.
What about now?
Well, I'm just going to put Justin on the screen and let him introduce himself while I try and sort out my thing.
I'm mic'd up.
Is that okay? I'm going to put Justin on the screen. Sorry, Justin. You know how to live stream. So introduce yourself to everybody who's here. Take the stage, and I'll try and sort this out.
I guess so. Let me see. Okay, they can.
Not me. Justin. Justin. I want Justin, not me. Oh. My goodness. I won't go away. I'm just going to put Justin on the screen and let him introduce himself while I try and sort out my...
Okay. Well, that'll work. No, you're fine. All right. Well. All right. Yeah, I can see the chat too. I got it. I got the chat right over here in this corner. First of all, what's going on, everybody? It's good to be here. I apologize for being late. I'm so sorry. Been handling a lot of stuff, work stuff that I have, like shows and stuff later on tonight and this weekend, buying costumes, and I lost track of time. I apologize, guys, but it's good to be here. And yeah, I can see the stream. Let me see. Should we start it? Maybe.
Yeah, we got some lag going on too. Nothing yet.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I can hear things. Ah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
So how bad is the echo?
It's fine for me. It just works in headphones. It doesn't work out loud.
Okay, perfect.
Guys, I have no idea why that happened. That's never happened before in all of these months of live streams. How are you, Justin? Thank you for I felt bad for leaving you on the screen, but you know how to live stream. So.
Hey, no, I apologize for being late. It's a hectic time for the year. It really, really is. I got a show tonight, and then I have I have gigs and stuff literally all weekend. So I've been around like costume shopping, and I completely lost track of time. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm here, and I hope everyone doesn't mind talking to me. So that's completely fine. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's good to talk to you at the same time, because I've watched a lot of your live streams. You probably, I assume you might watch one of my videos or live streams or something. We've never spoken at the same time. So did you chat while I was gone? Did you explain?
It looks like, I mean, at least on my computer, there's been a lag.
Okay. Yeah, it does take a bit of time. I tried to explain who you are. I've explained that you're a breakdancer, an acrobat. You've worked on cruise ships. You're a YouTube superstar.
I don't know.
How do you become a breakdancer on a cruise ship? Because
well, it's actually I don't know. Okay, so after high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so I have a son too. I'm a dad. I had my son when I was 17. And
oh, okay.
At the time, I was either getting ready to go to the military or nursing school, and a friend of mine the opportunity to work for SeaWorld, and they were having this show over there. I was dancing, but I never really took it seriously at the time. But I mean, I had been around some of the best in the world, so they taught me how to head spin and all the crazy stuff. So my friend got me a job at Busch Gardens making $20 an hour. And at the time for me, that was really good money. I said, oh, wow, okay, cool. So we're set. But then I kept auditioning for shows and gigs and whatnot. And then I started a small contract with Fun Force with Carnival Cruise Lines. They were doing fly-on. I did literally one fly-on with them. And after that, they cut all the dancers because they were hiring a third-party company called G-Force. And they fired all of them. So I barely even got to do anything there. But yeah, so
my goodness.
Yeah, working on the ship was like something I really, really wanted to do. And I kind of just put it back in my mind because after that, I just went straight to the Harlem Globetrotters after that. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yeah, I can't, just as a career path, I can't imagine how, I know you've done it, but it's just so far from me. I work in data development. I did a maths degree. So to be a break dancer on a cruise ship is incredibly cool.
A really random opportunity. Like after working for the Globetrotters, I worked for them for about 7 years, and some shady stuff that went on with the company when I was in Eastern Europe at one point. I was like, you know what, that's my time for me to move on. Spend time with my son and reconnect with everybody because I've been traveling in and out. Like I'd be gone for 6 months out of the year every year for about 7 years straight. And I would leave on Christmas Day. So I'd be gone from Christmas until, like spring. And yeah, eventually I got tired of that. And I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try something new. I was at home, I was doing shows and stuff around my city. And out of nowhere, I got into a car accident. Somebody rear-ended me and I was in therapy and everything. And out of nowhere, some people that I had worked with over at SeaWorld worked for Norwegian. And the Norwegian headquarters just happens to be here in my city in Tampa Bay. So they reached out to me, and this guy out of nowhere, Brian Baez, I hadn't talked to him in years. He said, hey, would you mind working, said, what's your schedule looking like for the year? I was like, well, I got a couple of gigs, nothing crazy. He's like, I see you're traveling all the time. I was like, he asked if I had international trips coming up. And I said, no, not really. He's like, well, this is Broadway show with NTL called After Midnight. Have you heard of it? I was like, yeah, a couple of my friends have done it. He's like, well, a break dancer, a hip hop dancer for the show. You think you'd be interested? Well, I already know that you have the skill. If you can pass a drug test and everything, you could, we can get I said, really? He's like, yeah, we can get you a contract right now. I was just kind of dumbfounded.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Now all this is going on through Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, dude, like, it's good to see you. How you doing? But he right out of the gate, he just kind of offered me the gig. He's like, you can pass a drug test and you're healthy. I was like, yeah. I mean, I told him about the car accident. I was in like therapy and stuff, but honestly, I told him I was fine.
Yeah.
We'll get the paperwork done. And literally a week later, I was getting my testing, my yellow fever shot and all that. And next thing I know, I'm at rehearsals with all these Broadway people. And I said, oh, well.
It sounds like it was meant to happen and that was supposed to be. But
now, I about that all the time. Even with what I have now with YouTube and stuff, I said, wow, it's just kind of funny how everything just kind of connects to each other.
Yeah, I believe sometimes it just works. And it just worked out. Markus has asked, do the waves affect your dancing?
I mean, I don't know. I was always a one. Even when we were like, let's say rocky seas, like if we'd be in the middle of a storm, I was still doing the backflips and head spins. Everybody's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Honestly, I did like a couple of Zumba classes. This is the closest I've ever come on a princess cruise. And honestly, even just the jump and you land like at 1 millimeter in a different place is enough for me to be like,
well, as far as I'm consider it training because I'll do a lot of competitions and stuff, and I'm just kind of used to traveling and being jet lagged when I'm doing competitions. So for me, I was like, you know what? I'll just practice. So in between the shows, I would practice upstairs at the in the gym, especially like on the rainy days when the ship was rocking. I said, you know what? This is nothing but good training because when I go on land, I'll be solid. I'll be good. So that's how I looked at it. It affected me a little bit. There were some days where the ship would be really, really bad when we do a show, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a backflip kind of day.
No, I can't even imagine. I think that's a whole new level of skills and something you probably only get from working on the cruise ship because I can't imagine you can kind of train you for that, can they? But
well, I've done some odd shows over the years too, some very strange shows. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that actually happened.
Yeah, no, I could not. There's no way I could do that. And it must be exhausting, is it not? How many shows would you do if you were doing that Norwegian one, for example?
Oh, no, honestly. And, people ask me this all the time. Honestly, to this day, and this is honestly a big reason why I wouldn't take another contract. I've never had an easier contract in my life for anything.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like this weird miracle contract that literally fell out of the sky for me. I was working maybe, I kid you not, like 2 days a week. And we had, and on those days, on those show days, we only had 2 shows. We had a show at was it 6 p.m. and then we had a show at 9. And that was it. That was it, because we shared the show. We shared the stage with Choir of Man. Then they did bingo in there every now and then. So I mean, for us, we unless there was a reblock that we had to like maybe edit the show a little bit, somebody got hurt or something like that, or we had to rehearse something that was going wrong in the show, we never had to do anything. And then even when it came to the drills, still we had to do nothing.
That sounds amazing. If you think about, I mean, people who perform on Broadway or something, don't they do 8 shows a week or something like that? So yeah, I think that's probably a difference between Norwegian and other cruise lines, though, because on the smaller ones, especially the smaller British ones, it's the same people who do it 14 nights in a row, different show, over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't have a specialist team for a specialist show. But
so that's how, like, for me, I thought it was amazing because I had plenty of friends that work for Royal Caribbean. I have friends that work for Carnival. I have friends that work for NCL as well. And even for them, they're working a lot. And if they're not working in the actual show, they're doing a lot of side work. So when I got off my contract, I said, wait a minute, like, there's not more to this. I'm telling you, I had my own room. I had room service. I had so on the ship with NCL, you either get a yellow card or you get a white card, which allows you to, if you have a yellow card, which was what I had, we can go to most places on board the ship. There were some restaurants that we weren't allowed to go to, but all the bars we were allowed to go to all the bars, all the restaurants. And then because of how the show layout was, we had every port off. And, you know, every port of call was ours to go all day, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I would never have
all the jobs.
Yeah. And I look at everybody else, they would say, oh, you're living the good life. And I'm like, well, you know, it hasn't always been that way for me. I'm a street performer. You know, there's been times where I've been homeless. There's been times where I had literally no money, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to explain that to a lot of the people a lot of the time. They're like, oh, look at you. You know, you're probably rich back at home. You have this and you have that. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. This leads on nicely to Brian's question about your accommodations. Do you get your own cabin? Are they better than the general crew?
No. So I had what was called a petty cabin, and it was pretty small. So if you guys, if you look at my older videos, it's still up there. I showed the officer cabin, and then I showed my cabin as well while I was on board the ship. I still have those my first videos that I did, because I figured people would want to know, like, the taboo world. You know, we got to share the
for sure.
The toilet, we call it, the shower and the toilet fused together. It's an interesting life. It's a lot. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. It really is. Like,
I don't think I've seen those videos of yours. I think the first time I saw your videos was you were talking about kind of how much the crew members make, that type of thing. But I'll have to go back and watch that. It sounds interesting.
I mean, I'm surprised that video took off the way it did. I think that was like my 4th video.
Yeah.
And you know, at the time I didn't really know what I was doing. I just stacked my phone with some books, and I was like, you know what, whatever. We're here. You know, I'd always start a YouTube channel, and I was like, okay, well, not a lot of people know about what it's like living and working on cruise ships. It's such a taboo environment. Let me go ahead and talk about what people aren't willing to talk about. And even from my first video, like, at first I was like, you know what, it'd be cool if I got a couple hundred views. That'd be nice. I wouldn't mind, because I wanted to help people. I'm like, when I got my contract and I looked for information, couldn't find it. I would find maybe 1 or 2 videos dispersed between like different channels, but nobody had a dedicated channel talking about it. So I said, you know what? Well, let me see how it goes. And I did my first one talking about, I think, your first day working on the cruise ship. And it'd be cool if it got like a couple hundred views. And then like the first day I got like 3,000. And I said, oh, okay. Let's keep this going. How it works. I
guess for all of us, when we're on a cruise ship and there's those signs that say like crew only, can't pass, we want to know what's on the other side of that. So you probably get a lot of viewers who are just, you know, just being, because it's interesting.
Surprised. I've had people, especially like when I was just like exclusively talking about the crew side of things.
Yeah.
That would come and argue with me, and they say, oh, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. I did the crew tour as a guest, and you know, the crew aren't allowed to do this and do that. And I said, you know, in my mind, I'm like, I get it, but they don't show you everything on those. You know what I mean? They show you what they want you to see.
Yeah.
You know, and they're gonna tell you the stuff. he was arguing me about how, because it was about the drinking on board the ship. Like with NCL, unlike most cruise lines, they don't have liquor in the crew areas. So if you want liquor, you have to have a yellow card and you have to go into the guest areas. But even then, you're being watched 24/7. So that was wine and you have beer. But the idea is that you can't have more than 2 glasses of wine or 2 beers, because that equals out to the alcohol limit that you're allowed to have working on board.
Oh, okay.
But I would explain to people, I was like, it's not that strict. Honestly, with the security, yeah, they're watching everyone. But as long as you're not being belligerent, you're not, vomiting, you're not, you're not wasted, you're not clearly drunk, they're not going to bother you.
Yeah.
Everybody's had a long day. People just want to sit back, relax. If they want to have 3 beers, they shouldn't be fired for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess if you're making a terrible embarrassment of yourself, that's different.
I've seen it. Oh my gosh. I got so many stories. I've seen it happen. I've seen the fights and everything else, It's a very, very taboo world. And, when I started my channel, that was my goal. I said, I want to teach people about this world, because I know a lot of people ask about it. A lot of people want to work on cruise ships, but a lot of people don't get the information that they think that they need in order to get on. There are people that are in relationships that don't know how it's going to work out. And I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, people reach out to me in emails. Oh, well, I've been with my girl for 3 years and I got a contract with NCL. How do you think it'll work out? I'm like, how strong is your relationship?
How are you supposed to know that? Like,
yeah, I can only say so much, but to me, I've seen the environment, and as far as I can put it, it's like a high school, college type environment. And for a lot of people, they're experimenting, and honestly, on the ship, you don't have a lot of options. Next thing you know, you're having a cabin party playing Truth or Dare or Spin the Bottle. It happens like that.
Yeah.
People get bored. It's like you're working all day. You want to release some stress. You're going to drink. Next thing you know, you're doing a cabin party and somebody says it. Let's play Spin the Bottle. Let's play Truth or Dare. And then things happen.
I mean, you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean, far from home. So
also around usually pretty energetic people that are full of life, beautiful people. And it's like, things happen.
Yeah.
But it's like people would ask me all these questions and stuff, and it's like, honestly, a lot of them I didn't have the answer to. But I was like, I'll try to answer stuff to the best of my ability.
You have more than most people.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too,
I have no idea.
The thing is too, because I know there's a lot of people that will say, I don't want to say discredit me, but the thing is, it's not like I've been doing cruise ships for years and years and years and years and years, but I know for a fact that there's very few people, if any, that have had the type of contract that I did. And I just took advantage. I got to know everybody. I knew everybody in the spa. I knew the waiters. I knew the chefs. And I would hang out with these people every day intentionally because I wanted to learn. And I don't think anybody's really gone out of their way. If you see on the ship with the crew, usually, I'm telling you, it's like high school. People are very cliquey. The spa stay with the spa workers. You know what I mean? And the officers stay with the officers. And, for a lot of them, it's just there's a lot of rules and stuff. Like the officers technically are. Same thing with security. They're not supposed to be mingling. The people that work surveillance shouldn't technically be friends with anybody outside of surveillance, because they figure that if the right person knows or wrong person knows that they're in surveillance, they're going to say, hey, look, I need you to, erase that footage for me, or, you know what I mean? Something of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of.
I'm imagining it like Greece, where there's the different people hanging together in different groups.
So
I've got a lot of people want to know, what is your favorite cruise port? We've had that question multiple times. So
probably Bermuda, because I know a lot of secret spots over there.
Yeah, I've been to Bermuda long time ago.
I really do. Second favorite, and as generic as it is, I do love Cozumel, because I go there a lot to go get dental work done. I mean, I live in Florida, so for me to take a flight over there, I usually just take trips to Mexico a lot. And what I'll do is I'll rent a car. And I'll just kind of, I'll bounce around between like Tulum, Playa del Carmen, because if you go to Playa del Carmen, you just take there's a ship called the Ultramar. You can just take that over to the port, and like to be there without the ships, it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah,
that's there a lot. So
yeah, for me, I've only been to Mexico on cruises, and UK it seems like a world away. So for you to be like, just pop down to Mexico, that's strange for me, but it's not hard for you, so.
It's a whole nother vibe being over there without the cruise port, without the cruise ships being over there. There's a lot less people.
Yeah.
I want to say it's less energetic. You can tell that the community over there, the economy over there is ready for when cruise ships are coming over.
Yeah. It must be.
Yes.
Strange. We have a question from Tony from Lolita Loca. He says, what do you think is the hardest crew position on a ship? It's got to be, I always think of the people who do housekeeping, absolute superstars.
I have to say that. Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, definitely the housekeeping. Well, because for them, their job doesn't stop. And the part about their position, there's a lot of people they kind of they don't really think about when it comes to it. They think everybody kind of gets this chance to go off on the ship. You got to think every time we're in port, that is their go time. Whether we be at the home port, whether we be at one of the ports of call, they never, ever, ever, ever get that chance, because whenever we get to a port, usually, let's say with most positions on board the ship, they might switch out, whether you're in the spa or the wait staff, somebody might be lucky enough to get half a day off. To my knowledge, because I had a lot of friends that were in housekeeping, they never got a day off, ever. Because for them, they're already kind of short-staffed to a certain degree. It's all hands on deck every single port day, every single embarkation day, every single disembarkation day. And that's just, it's unfortunate for them, really, it is. I mean, they try to find joy out of it. They have fun amongst each other. But for a lot of them, it's like if they're not doing the cabins, they're doing the crew cabins. You forget that so we don't do our, yeah. So the housekeeping that do the rooms, they have to tend to the crew members as well. At least, I believe on my ship with NCL, it was 3 times per week that they would come to our rooms. Because, they have to be replaced, and, they also got to make sure there's no safety hazards, or they're a little bit more technically trained on that aspect than we are. So they go in there, they make sure nothing's out of the ordinary, and then every now and then, like a staff captain might come in there and check, or even when we do drills, they'll have to come in and check and make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary with the rooms.
Sounds so hard, and I think I would find it so frustrating when people left things in a mess. I'm like, you could have just picked this up. It's your rubbish.
Yeah, well, I kept my room clean, but whenever it was time to replace like linens and the blankets and stuff like that and the pillows, like, yeah, of course. But I always made sure I tipped my housekeeping guy. It was really cool. And the thing is, what I would do with him, which ended up becoming a little side hustle for me. So these guys were, a lot of them, they never were able to get off the ship. And my ship was based in New York City. And the thing about, which is really weird, it's confusing to me, at least with NCL, I think it's with every cruise line. I've only heard about NCL and Royal Caribbean. But for some reason, with New York City, if it's your first contract, you're not allowed to get off the ship. In the U.S. Well, in New York for some reason, because they were allowed to get off in Miami, they were allowed to get off in Port Canaveral, but if it was their first contract, they weren't allowed to get off in New York City unless they obtained. I think it was some extra paperwork they were allowed to get some type of clearance. Yeah. So the thing is, with my housekeeping guy, his name was Henry, really cool guy, and he wanted to get his contract was wrapping up, and he needed like 2 iPhones. So he asked me whenever we were in New York, he gave me the money and asked if I can go pick it up for him. And New York maneuver around, and we only had a couple hours, but I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So no big deal. But I did it for him, and next thing I know, everybody and their mom is asking me if I can pick it up, and I was like, yeah, But the thing is, so I would do that. They would give me like an extra like 40, 50. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We got a little sign up. The next thing you know, on the ship, every at the crew bar,
so cool.
People come up and say, hey, Jay, you going out in New York tomorrow? I said, yeah. I said, well, you think you can pick me up? I need an iPhone 8. I was like, sure. But I was like, okay, the iPhone 8, it's going to be, I think at the time it was like 600. They told me like 650, and they were like, here, just keep the change. And I was like, sure.
Nice. That's something I never thought about. I wonder why. They just think you're going to leave in New York and not come back, maybe. Yeah,
it happened. Well, so a friend of mine got fired for that. Back like before I started jumping onto the mainstream stuff with cruising, I had this sub videos that I would do called Shiplife Stories. So I would tell people about the stories and stuff that happened on board the ship. So I had a friend of mine, his name was Lee. He got fired for that. So he got fired for being late. It was like, I think the end or the beginning of his second contract. So he was able to get granted shore leave in the home port in New York City. And people, especially the ones that are from the Philippines and like the developing countries, they always dream of going to see New York City for a lot of them. So he was excited. And, this guy is running around. I think I was picking up some shoes at the time or something like that. I was at Foot Locker or whatever. And I knew I had to be back. New York is not one of those places where you want to say, oh, well, if I'm a couple minutes late, You know, or I got 20 minutes. I can go to another store. It's like you got to like I would be back well in advance because it's like the traffic and everything. With New York being what it is, I was like, yeah, we got to get. But I'm on my way back, and this guy Lee, his first time being allowed to go to New York, is texting me. He's like, "Hey, yo, where you at? Let's meet up." And I'm like, "Lee, yo, get back to the ship, man. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So Lee ended up being 15 minutes late, and they fired him because of that.
Oh my goodness.
He was trying to what they would call like for our ship terms, jump ship, meaning he was trying to leave and just kind of get go live in the United States, which people do. People do that. It happens at least, I want to say, like every other cruise, at least to my knowledge. It's not as uncommon as people think. You got people that they work their contracts, and for them, they're like, well, they may have some connects in the U.S. and Canada, so get to one of the ports like Miami, and then they'll just take the bus and they'll disappear. They'll go. Like all the, they'll leave their citizenship, their passport, and all that with the cruise line, and then they'll go start a new life in the United States.
Yeah.
And usually like
never considered.
Yeah. So they call it jumping ship.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, a lot happens that people just don't think about. It's just, it really is.
I wouldn't even know that that's the thing I could think about, let alone all of these things. That's crazy. We've got so many comments, and I feel bad that I can't read and respond to all of them. But if I did,
I'm sorry, I can talk a lot. I'll give out shorter answers. That way we can.
No. Please keep going. It's really interesting. I just wanted to say congratulations to Emily, who had a job interview today, I think, and she is now Taco John's general manager training. Nice. Well done, Emily. We've got loads of people in the house today. You've attracted the crowds. Thank you so much, Justin.
I'm having fun.
I mean, I love these chats because it's just so. It's the way I end my week. It's the end of a Friday here in the UK. So it's just wind down, and we have a blanket, a cup of tea, chat to everyone. I started doing this just because, I was working from home and everyone else was, and now I'm not going to stop because it's fun.
How's everything going in the UK right now?
Well, we're in another lockdown.
Yeah.
For now. We've got kind of a break for Christmas, which feels a bit strange. So we can meet up with 3 households over Christmas for 5 days, I think.
Weird.
And then after that, they're going to say, "Oh, the numbers are up again. We need another lockdown part 3."
I just think it's weird. One of the things that bothers me about this, and I always tell people, like, I would never put anything on the line of conspiracy theory or anything like that. But I also, just in my travels, I've learned to question everything. I was in the UK, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she lives in Birmingham. I was helping her get settled in over there. And it was just so weird. Wherever we go, it's like one place they'd be doing the track and trace, and then we go to East London and nobody's wearing masks, nobody's social distancing. You got some of the pubs open, and I'm like, but
it's really strange.
Here, it's the same here. I just think if they were going to make these rules, it should be across the board. That way we don't have any problems, but we do the same thing with cruising as well.
Yeah, for us it feels like it's like strict measures. Nothing strict, and it's like, why can't we just have like a new middle ground? It just feels strange to me that we're just doing whatever we want for Christmas, and then we go back. They're going to tell us for all the coronavirus numbers rising. But we've had our first vaccines here now this week, so I'm hoping things will get better as we start moving into 2021.
Yeah, we'll see.
Optimistic.
It's crazy here because I live in Florida, and all the bars are open, all the clubs are open. Everything is open. Like I got to work at a club tonight. It's brim with people. I mean, and like found out like the club next to us, 2 people had just recently tested positive for COVID, and they're not even in the club.
I see people online in Florida out in the theme park.
Yeah.
I'm like. So different. I mean, I work from home, no problem. I have my food delivered, no problem. No need to really go and do anything anymore. So I'm thinking, sit down, wait for it to blow over. That's my plan for this entire year.
I just think with all the confusion, it's going to be a while before it blows over. And that's the unfortunate part. I wish there was organization throughout the whole, and I've been saying that since March. Whenever I started talking about the cruise ship stuff, and it's like, whether it be cruising or just in general with this whole pandemic, I just wish things were a little bit better structured and better organized. Because entertainer, honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, this YouTube channel literally saved my life because all the gigs that I had for the year died, gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I'll do car detailing on the side. I'll do Uber every now and then, but still, I was like, man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I see my friends now too that are just full-time entertainers, and a lot of them work on the ships. I've been talking to my friends over in the Philippines as well, and a lot of them aren't doing so great. And in my mind, I was just like, man, this could have been handled better, you know?
Yeah. At least you're a good example of someone who's been in a bad situation and made the best out of that situation. So your channel is doing amazingly. I don't know how you get out the news so fast every single day.
I'm telling you.
Keep up to date, so thanks.
No, well, when I started out originally, like I saw the opportunity. I believe that, you know, you look at the Great Depression, you look at all the stuff that's happened in the world, it creates opportunity. And at the time, like my channel was blowing up when I was working with Norwegian. I was on the ship because people like a visual. But when I got home, I was still talking about the same stuff. I'd be lucky to get maybe 2,000 or 3,000 views per video. And I was like, okay, my channel's kind of like died.
Yeah.
And every now and then I talk about like the mainstream stuff. Like one thing that I know a lot of people, it's a touchy subject, but it's something that I felt like needed to be put out there. It's like you'd see like a crew member took their own life or something like that. And it's like, I didn't do that to get views. I did it to make sure everybody understood the mindset of what's going on the ship, because especially from a passenger perspective, is that we're in this utopic environment. We're with beautiful people going to the most beautiful places in the world, and nothing is better than that. And that's how people see it. Like, you know, you haven't been there as a crew. Like even when we had a GI outbreak, I was stuck on board the ship for about 3 weeks because New York wasn't allowing us in.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much like, other than if we wanted to go up to what we call Decade, the outside area to go smoke, we were confined to our rooms. And, you know, we had food delivered, we had all this stuff. And it's like, when you're sitting there and you realize you're away from home, you realize that, let's say take this pandemic in particular, a lot of people, members unfortunately weren't getting paid, and they're away from their family. They have no money to send to them. And that's the most money they're ever going to make. And they have no idea what the future of their jobs looking like, because the entire cruise ship industry has been shut down with no sign of starting up anytime soon. You know, that can take a toll on you mentally, because you're like, okay, well, I'm literally about to lose everything that I've spent years on building, because a lot of the crew members, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of work they have to do to get on the ship. Like for me, I go to one audition, and as long as I pass through the audition, I'm on board. You know, I take my yellow fever shot, get all the paperwork. A lot of them, they have to pay to get on the ship, and it's like for a lot of them, it's like all of the money that they have to get with this third-party company in order to get on the ship. And then when they get there, they still have dues that they have to pay back to the third-party company that got them on board, you know? So it's for a lot of them, it's just mentally draining. And when I started, I said, you know what, like, I think people really know about this. And as for a guest perspective, they need to really understand the psychological aspect of it. And I think that's really important, because I try to come from a place of understanding before I judge it.
Yeah, I'm under no illusions. I don't think I could work on a cruise ship. And people say to me all the time, why don't you work on a cruise ship? You love cruise ships. I don't think I could do it. I wouldn't want to. I don't have any skills. I like to keep business and pleasure separate. And I wouldn't want to be away from home for so long. I don't know if I could do it. Honestly, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. But the thing is, like, even so, we would have to do like reports and whatnot and evaluations. And I would like not trying to sound big headed, but I wasn't surprised. But like whenever the management would always tell me that I had adjusted quicker than anybody for technically being a first timer on like a long-term contract with a ship. But to me, it was easier than anything else that I had already done. When I was with the Globetrotters, for example, we do our Australian tour, we do our Asia tour. We were in a different city every single day. So imagine checking into a hotel. We check into the Hiltons and Hyatts. It'd be a nice hotel, but we'd only be there for a couple hours. We go sleep there that night, and then at 5 a.m. we had to pack up and leave. And I did that, like, we do 6-month contracts that way. Flights, you know, there's times you have to wake up at 3 a.m. for a flight, and then to a game, and then another game, and we'd be in Madison Square Garden one day, and then LA the next day, and it was a lot. So for me, I was like the Globetrotters and stuff, I actually have a place, like a steady place to stay at. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think I could deal with jet lag either. So not for me. We have a question that's like a nice positive one from Matty that says, how can the average passenger make the average crew member's life easier? I guess be polite for a start. It drives me nuts.
Exactly. Well, you know, and that's one thing. Whether you're a passenger or a crew member, we've all seen the entitlement. the drama queens, or the people that just feel like since they bought the, you know, the drink package or whatever, they're just because they bought a cruise that they're entitled to everything and that above everybody, which isn't the case. You know, there are a lot of people that hang that whole the customer's always right, and they try to use that to take advantage of opportunities. They're like, oh well, I paid for this cruise, so if I want, 500 extra pillows in my room, I can have it. But there are people that will just get angry about that stuff, and I'm like, guys, you gotta realize you're still dealing with people, and because unfortunately, there's that language barrier, there's that cultural barrier. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of people, the crew members that are from other countries, they can't comprehend how you're feeling to a certain degree, and they don't know how to handle it too. All you're doing is stressing them out.
Yeah.
But I've seen it. I'm a people watcher. Whenever I was on board, I'm telling you, like I said, just working 9 days a week, even on days, I would just go walk around. I'm like, to me, as far as I was concerned, I was on a cruise, and I put that in my image that I was a guest. So I would walk around, see how people act. And to me, I'm just like, I don't understand how people could be so entitled.
Yeah.
Everybody, don't get me wrong.
You're on a cruise.
Yeah.
You're on a cruise. You're not at work. You're on a cruise.
Yeah.
Why be miserable when you're here? I think one of my favorites was on an MSC cruise. And we were in the restaurant, and it was a very old man with a very young, beautiful woman. And she ordered a starter for romaine. Like, she wanted that dish for romaine, and it came out before his main. He flipped out, and they were like, "We're so sorry, we'll take it back, we'll bring it back in 5 minutes." It was a salad or something. It wasn't, it was not ruined.
Yeah.
And she was like down on her knees consoling this man who was so angry. And we were sat next to him like, I have no words. I'll be extra nice, and I'll try and say thank you about 15 times to make up for it. But I don't know. I feel like I'd never want to trouble anyone for anything, even if it's something they're no trouble. I just don't know. I can't imagine it. I would feel so bad. But yeah.
No, I'm telling you, like I've seen a lot. I've seen crew members getting cursed at, and and in my mind, I'm just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the main takeaway for the person who asked if how crew members' lives easy. Be polite, just understand that these people are just doing their job.
Yeah.
And for a lot of them, that's literally all they have for a lot of them. That's the only way that they're feeding their family. So, I've seen someone write complaints about people, and I'm like, you're complaining because this person maybe, let's say worst case scenario, spilled a drink on the way to giving it to you or something like that, and you want to take away their livelihood for that?
Yeah. And
people like that. Guys, come on now. Like,
yeah, it's like, could you work on here for that length of time, for these hours per day? Yeah. No way.
It is. Like, I always talk to the crew, like, this thing, I would never put myself in the category of them. I never would. And it's not like I was above thing. I think we were just in different places. Like, my struggle came from to get to the ship. And for a lot of them, just being a waitress, a waiter, or whatever the case is, it may not have been a dream come true for them, but for them, it's probably one of the best opportunities they're gonna get. And I respected that fact. I'm like, I could see these people working all day, every day. If you go on any particular ship, go to the bar, go through 8 different bars. You'll see the same person that was at the bar on the Lido deck. That, you know what I mean? You'll see the same person at the theater that has been up all day long, literally just serving drinks. So I give them my respect at the end of the day.
I think sometimes I'm too far the other way. So if they bring me something wrong, I'll be like, it's fine. I'll eat it. Don't worry. I'm good for this, but it's fine. Like,
I'm pretty easy.
Yeah, I think I'm not a bad passenger, so I need to know that. But we've got a question about what do you like most about visiting England? Do you like it when you come over, or is it a bit?
England's not bad. I think with everything, fine, good and bad. And honestly, at the end of the day, for me, like I'm very transparent with my how I am on my channel. Like, I love cruising, don't get me wrong, but my overall love comes from travel. I think the world would be a better place if everybody traveled, because it would give everybody understanding of different cultures. It would give everybody perspective of how to see the world, especially Americans. Living here, it's like we're kind of taught to just not travel. We're kind of taught to be very materialistic, very superficial people. And I see it, and I'm like, man, just imagine if these people went to even anywhere in Europe, but even in like parts of Europe, even in, let's say, England. I've come across some stuff. Like even when I was just there, I came across, unfortunately, a lot of racist people. Like I was in where was I at? I forgot the name of this bay where they had the ships at. I can't even think of the name right now. Where they had the ships docked over at?
Were you up, down the country, up the country?
I think it was down. I want to say down.
Southampton is our main port. That's where most of our ships are.
Well, so it wasn't too far from Southampton, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But either way, so I was walking around. It's a pretty nice area. You could tell people over there had money, and I was check the. It's where they were doing the ghost ship tours, or just maybe like 30 minutes. 30 minutes where they were doing the ghost ship tours. I went out of my way to go check that out while I was there. And I get there and I'm walking around by myself. I had my camera, I had my tripod with me and my bag and stuff, and I'm walking, and it was a couple, and they see me, and they literally go from my sidewalk and to the other sidewalk while they're just like staring at me. And I was like, okay, that was weird. And it happened again within 5 minutes. The man grabbed his wife or girlfriend or whatever she was. He like gripped her and like took her across the street. And I'm like, do I look homeless? I don't understand. Like what's happening here?
Yeah, I don't think it's very scary.
No, I mean I'm a pretty nice guy, but but then talking like with the woman at the Airbnb I stayed at, really nice lady. But she would always tell me about, oh, like you Americans, you guys need to understand proper English and this and that. And I'm like, I can only do what I can, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. I was like, I'm doing my best.
Yeah. But honestly, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie to you though. It's as cliche as it is. When I'm in places like London, and where were we at? We were at Winchester.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
On my way to I took the train over there because we were in some other little suburb. I took the bus to Winchester, and then from there I went to Southampton to go check out the Carnival Corporation and all that over there. And I swear I felt like I was in Harry Potter. I did.
Yeah.
Over there, it's just you got older buildings and stuff over there, and it's like it's really cool to see. I love being in England. I mean, honestly, anywhere outside of the U.S., I've been stressed out because I haven't been home this long in a very long time. I miss traveling. I do.
Yeah, I took I don't know if you watch Sean and Steph, the cruise travel bloggers on here, and they met in Brighton, and every building they're like, oh my god, look at that building, and I was like, it's just, to me it's just a normal old building, but to them
everything there like visually pleasing. It's very aesthetically pleasing over there. It's nice because you don't see that in the U.S. You really don't. By the way, what part of you're in England, right? You're in England?
Yeah, so I'm down on the south coast, Brighton. So.
Right. Oh, okay. I got a friend out that way. So a friend of mine, Jade, I work with her on the ship. I was planning on going over that way, but it just got so hectic when I was there.
We have a question about your time. Where has it gone? Sorry, guys. It's so hard to follow the comments. It was a question about your time with the Globetrotters. Wherever it's gone, whoever asked it, sorry. But what was that like? Was that good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Honestly, that was life-changing for me. So for me, I grew up in a very poor family, and I don't know why. I'd always wanted to travel. I always wanted to know like what else was out there. And the Globetrotters literally gave me that opportunity. So when they hit me up randomly, I was working at Busch Gardens at the time, and it was just kind of one of those things where I was on and off contract with them. So I was back to being poor at one point, because when you're in entertainment, you're not really working. Just like with cruising, you're technically not employed with a specific company. You're contracted. And once that's done and over with, that no more money coming in or anything like that. So it's like I had a good summer of making money, and then after that, everything just kind of died. And I'm like, I need to go to nursing school, or I need to do something else. I had put in, a friend of mine referred me to the Harlem Globetrotters, and at the time I was like, oh, are they still around? And he's like, yeah, you can talk to this guy, Zoli, just send him your info. And I didn't hear from them for months, so I was giving up. I was like, this entertainment stuff is fun, but I got to do better. And like literally the day I was getting ready to drive to the school, a friend of mine went to this place called Everest for nursing, and this guy calls me, and it's his number from Phoenix, Arizona. He was like, hey, is this Justin? I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, it's Zoli. And like, Zoli, I was like, yeah. He's like, Zoli with the Harlem Globetrotters. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? He's like, yo, dude, man, I loved your demo. We like your your resume and everything. He's like, would you want to come to training camp over in New York? I'd never been to New York. Honestly, the only place I'd ever been from at that point in time was here in Florida, Atlanta. I lived there at one point in Chicago, because that's where I'm originally from. He's like, oh, you want to come to New York and to the training camp and everything? I was like, sure. You know, I caught me off guard. You know,
yeah,
like, you want to come? And I was like, yeah, but honestly, I don't have the money for a plane ticket to go to New York right now. I didn't know how it all worked back then. And
yeah,
I was 19, and he was like, oh, no, we're gonna pay for your flight. We're gonna pay for your hotel. You're good. And I was like, what? You know. You know, I ended up going over there, and honestly, the rest is kind of history. Like, I was there. Somebody's asking if I was where a breakdown. Yeah, that's what I started out at. So I started out doing like the opening, like before the players would come out, and then we did halftime, and then we were kind of like stagehands in between that. But I was only there for like a year before they asked me to be promoted to stage manager. They saw how good I was with people and whatnot, and you know, it was stressful at first because I was the youngest stage manager they had ever had, and I had to deal with dance moms, and you know, it was cool. I got to meet a lot of celebrities. Got to meet a couple times. A lot of players, a lot of NBA players and stuff, and it was really cool because, you know, we had meet and greets and whatnot. So whenever a celebrity would come in, because we were always in different cities. I've been to every city in the United States. I've been like everywhere, which is cool. Whenever a celebrity would show up, you know, I got to, you know, handle the meet and greet for them. So I was a dancer with them for about a year and a half. In between, while I was doing transition and training for stage management, stage manager with them for 3 years, and then for the last 2 or 3 years, I was international tour manager. So like whenever that happened, you know, it was just really random. Like the CEO, I guess he liked me. He kept promoting me. He was like, yeah, you know, we got this thing going on for dance moms. So a dance mom is like, so like, let's say you got like a bunch of girls like dance studio. The dance mom is the one that's kind of like not the coach. She's the one to be coach. I'll put it that way. She's the one that still like feels like she's in charge. She makes sure all the girls have their makeup done and their costume pieces. She's like the ultimate helper, but she's also that will let you have it if she feels like she's being wronged. I had an incident. A dance mom, she was pissed. She was really angry because we had some. It wasn't celebrities, but it was some pretty high end individuals that, you know, we were doing a meet and greet with. So I had them take the elevator, and I was gonna have the dance girls, because there were a lot of them. There were about 300 of them, you know, and there were only like 2. And she got mad at me because I didn't put them on the elevator. And I was like, man, if I put you on the elevator, it's gonna take. And look around. I think there was over 100 of them. So it's gonna take you anywhere from about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get everybody downstairs. You know, I said, I'm sorry, the stairs right here. You know, we can just get down there. We can be at the court. We can be ready to go. And she's like, this isn't right. Blah, blah, blah. This isn't fair treatment. She didn't get it.
No.
So, dance moms can be, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what is it? It's somewhat similar. I guess Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But it's like those people that would be difficult and stuff, like, it's like that and dealing with them. But the only reason I was able to relate with them was because I was a dancer, you know? So, yeah, it was definitely a fun time with the Globetrotters. A lot of, and you know, it's definitely been an adventure. I think the hardest part, and I explain this even with cruising too, the hardest part has been coming back home. So what I would do is, you know, it's like you would pack up. Like everything, right? You pretty much pack up your entire life. And like I said, I would leave on Christmas Day every year. I did this for 7 years straight. You pack up, you leave. And then, you know, like you have all these amazing adventures and all these stories and stuff that you want to tell people, but typically it's just you. And then you get back home, and now you got to play catch up. And it's like you can only tell people so much, because either it sounds like, one, you're bragging, or you can't tell people the stuff you went through because they can't relate to it. I'm like, dude, you won't believe what happened to me in Australia. And they're like, oh yeah, we get it, you travel. And I'm like, that wasn't the point, but yeah.
Yeah, but
it's but that's why I don't really do so much anymore. I don't mind going out of town for like a week, 2 weeks, or something like that. But to be gone for half a year, I got to come back and play catch up with all my friends. Some people are pregnant and married, and I'm like, okay, you kind of feel like you fell behind.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that was probably the biggest. That was probably the only bad part about it. And I think that told on me after a while. I was like, man, you know what? I can't keep doing that.
Yeah, especially with your son, because I mean, 6 months in a child's life is a long, long time.
He tells me all the time he hates it. He doesn't like he never liked when I left. Like, it was whenever I would come to the town and stuff like that, but that's it. La Lita Loca. See you later, Tony. Thanks for watching.
Bye, Tony. Thank you for your super chat. I don't. Tony is another one that puts out videos every single day.
No, I mean,
no idea.
Here's the thing. I've been watching Tony and Don long before my videos. You know,
me too.
it was just like, for me, when I made the decision ultimately, because it was an intentional decision to go into more like the mainstream cruising stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be easy, like they're on it. They really are on it, and it's like, for me, like, I try to pay attention to the details, but I also try to be very, very realistic, non-BS, and out into that. I was like, okay, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm not trying to, honestly, it was because of them. They inspired me to say, you know what, we can talk about this stuff without it being too much.
Yeah. I think a nice positive spin on everything, which I like, because I try and keep up with all the news, obviously, but sometimes when it's so depressing and it's over and over again, it's quite hard. But your videos never depress me, so thanks for that.
No, well, the thing is, I know sometimes I can come off as a little bit too real, because the truth
needed.
Is, but to me, it's hard not to get caught up in all the negativity going on. People will reach out. There are people that email me. I think I just got one while I'm talking to you. People will talk about, I appreciate the news, but you should talk about this and this and this. And they say, you never talk about drink packages or anything like that. And I'm like, we're in the middle of the pandemic, like,
yeah.
We have to, unfortunately, we have to talk about what's the most relevant.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat and just to appease everybody, because I understand the mindset of people working on board, or not even working, people that are guests on board ships. You're used to a very happy, utopic environment. You're used to that. So to hear, oh, well, this cruise line isn't doing so hot, or it might be another 6 months. I think that was the biggest thing for me when I started out. I was like, okay, like, I saw the bigger picture. I have friends that were working on ships. I had friends that were sending me videos and telling me everything that was going on. And I was like, okay, well, I have this platform. I got to tell people that this isn't going to be back to normal in 1 month. Don't want to hear it. But I'm telling you, when that happened, people, they did not like my channel. Like, I was getting more views than I ever had, but I was like, oh, wow, these people, like, the negative comments. I'm like, guys, you got to really take a step back on the outside and really look at it. I was getting a lot of information from my friends. People hit me up. They said, oh, well, we got 2 cases so far on this ship, and this and this and this. And I talk about it and just kind of mention it. And I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I understand that in order to be successful, sometimes you do have to you got to go through the dirt. You do, and that's how I said, you know what? I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic. And it's going to be different for a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't going to like it. But when I tell people, oh, there may be cases on more ships, people did not like that. And they're like, oh, dude, you're just saying that because you got fired from the cruise line. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Contract.
I think, I mean, I've had comments where I've been on a ship and they've said that's a different ship, and I'm like, I literally am here, and you still don't agree with me. So I don't know what you can do in that situation.
Everybody, like, I know the comment section can be a very, very toxic place. It's interesting for me too. Honestly, I'm like, I've had people write paragraphs, and to me, I'm just like, guys, like, I don't have the time. I'm more important than anybody. But for me, I think about it. I was like, man, like, who has the time to watch a video? Like, there's sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, like, even when I put out my content, I don't know everything, and I definitely make my share of mistakes. I may say, let's say a ship that can hold 5,000 people can only hold 3,000, and I will thrilled for it. And I'm just like, I'm here, but the way and write a paragraph about it. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It holds. I think it was one ship. I can't remember which one. It was a princess ship, or not a princess. It was a P&O ship, and I think me and Bruce, we made the same mistake. Because I looked at the pictures of the ship, and it apparently looked like it had no balconies. It's an older ship. And
I remember.
Balconies, when it had like a couple little balconies here and there, every single that video got like 78,000 views, and like every comment was like, "You need to do your research. That ship has." I'm like, my bad.
I know. That's like I did a video about the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady, and I said in it the number of passengers, but that wasn't the number of passengers. That was the number of passengers and crew, and like hundreds of comments. That's my most popular video, and I think half the comments is people.
By the way, that was the first viewers.
Yeah, I think half the comments are just telling me I'm wrong, but
but you see, that's what happens. I'm like, guys, like, it's easy looking at it from the outside perspective. I'm like, you want to, or people tell me how to make my content, and I'm like, guys, you can, I mean, I guess you can try. Let me know how it works out for you, because I mean, it can be difficult at times to make content, you know? Like every time I put out, I'm risking, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how people are going to receive it. To sit here, have my face on a video and just keep talking and talking, it's not easy to do, you know?
It's so hard. It's unbelievably hard. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about traveling with Bruce. But
yeah, traveling.
The thing is, especially with YouTube, people don't understand. Even though it helps that I come from an entertainment background, so I'm a little bit used to being seen. Yeah. But you don't automatically just have this talent to be on camera. Nobody does. It takes time to get comfortable. Like a lot of people don't look at my old videos, but if you go back and look at my old videos, I'm stumbling and stuttering and talking slow the whole way through. And I'm like, you know what? I look at my videos and I look at them even earlier this year. The transformation from my videos from then to now, I'm just like, oh, okay, we're doing it. Yeah. Notice it, but we're doing a pretty good job. We're always in the process of becoming, especially on YouTube, you know. But that's what I see. Even let's say Tony, for example, with Alita Loca. I'm like, guys, this guy keeps putting all these graphic stuff in, and I can't compete with that, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, because on YouTube you have to always be like evolving. And for me, I'm like, okay, how can I continue? You know, I'll try little silly stuff, like I'll make a joke, or like I used to like little stupid skits in my videos, and you know, and, I was like, okay, we got to keep doing that, because I mean, as much as it's not a competition in the eyes of the YouTube algorithm, unfortunately, it is. It's like that. You know, it's kind of one of those things though. If everybody's winning and everybody's getting views, you know, everybody's gonna be doing okay, which is cool. But
yeah, if I look at my old videos, I look so bored. I look unbelievably bored, and I'm not. But this is not how I have a normal conversation at home. When you're on camera, you have to smile more. You have to do your hands more. Exactly. But at the beginning, I look like just 10 minutes. It's really boring.
No, trust me, I get it. You know.
Well, I think we have run over, but I had to carry on talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's my
time for us to say goodbye, if that's all right. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been.
Thank you for having me.
Talk forever.
Oh yeah, I can. I'm telling you, I appreciate you for having me. I apologize for being late. We definitely have to do this again sometime. Maybe by the time we do this, the cruise ship industry will be in a better position.
I really hope so. If you ever need me on yours, you know where I am.
Okay. No, definitely. I haven't brought anybody on for an interview yet or anything.
It's really fun because it's just so much. It's just, I think we could just talk for ages, and it doesn't feel like you're really producing anything. You're just having a chat. So
organic.
Yeah, super easy. But let's say goodbye to everybody. I'll let you tell wherever you are that way. There. I'll let everyone where they can find you.
I appreciate you guys. A lot of you already at least I hope you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate it. Check out the Shiplife. You just type in the Shiplife on YouTube. My channel will come right up. I appreciate you guys, especially the ones that came in from my other channel to support. I apologize again for being late. I feel horrible. It's holiday season. It's a hectic time of the year. We live life outside of making YouTube videos. So yeah, I apologize, but we'll definitely have to do this again sometime. Thank you so much for having me, guys, and thank you so much, Emma, for having me. I really appreciate it.
This has been fun. Goodbye, everybody. I will be back same time, same place next week, and I'll talk to you all then. Goodbye.
Guys.